guys? This is Mike from Rage Break Gaming here, and I want to welcome you to my next side Let's Play series. Yes, viewers, I want to welcome you to Let's Play ygo-pro Percy. Yes, it's going to sound weird saying Percy at the end, because I used to say Let's Play ygo-pro back in the day when I did this on my old channel. But in any case, guys, welcome to Let's Play ygo-pro Percy. The main gist is I'm going to be doing Let's Play ygo-pro Percy episodes every Sunday morning. So, well, there you go. The thing about ygo-pro Percy is that just like all the other ygo-pro or ygo-pro servers or other games that have ygo-pro in their name and stuff, it's basically an online Yu-Gi-Oh card game battle simulator thingy. You can play with other real life players and stuff like that. Some good, some not so good. And I mean not so good. Well, by not so good, I mean terribly salty, terribly bad players. But well, there you go. But it makes for great entertaining duels. So there you go. At least that's what I think anyway. That being said though, guys, but yeah, the nice thing about Percy is that it also has link summoning now. Well, they added link summoning like a year or so ago, but they unfortunately do not have an AI that you can practice your duels against. So you'll have to practice against other players, which is dumb. So there you go. Otherwise than that though, let's go into our deck edit because I want to show off what deck I'm going to be using today. For today, I'm going to be using my Exodia build. Yes. Those that have played Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Yu-Gi-Oh! In general for a long time, you already know the basic premise of this deck, but there are very different variations of Exodia. Now, my variation is basically a stall and lockdown strategy in order to get Exodia. Of course, we have lots of draw power, but the draw power is not enough. You'll also want to have defensive measures not only to, well, protect your life points, but to protect your field spell. The main ace card of this deck is Mystic Mind, or Spell Mining Cave, or whatever. Mystic Mind, if your opponent controls more monsters than you do, your opponent cannot activate monster effects or declare an attack. Basically, as long as this card is on the field and your opponent controls more monsters than you do, your monsters not only can't attack, but they can't activate their monster effects either. However, if you control more monsters than your opponent does, you cannot activate monster effects or declare an attack, which in a sense with this deck is not really a big deal because I'm not going to be attacking anyway. However, once per turn, at the end of the turn, if both players control the same number of monsters, meaning if you have one monster in the field and your opponent has one, then well, the card is destroyed. So, and there's no way you can prevent that. So, there you go. I mean, maybe Field Barrier might be able to prevent that. I don't know if it can prevent Mystic Mind from being destroyed via its own effect. But I've never really tested that out. But I'll test that out at some point and see. Otherwise than that though, but be careful though, because your opponents will be going after Mystic Mind for sure. This card has won me so many duels. So, yeah, you definitely want to make sure that this card stays up on the field at all times. And, of course, we have methods to get it as well. We got Demise of the Land. Whenever your opponent special summons a monster, you can select the field spell from your deck and activate it. And then, of course, you have Metaverse, which unfortunately is now at 1. Before, though, it was at 3, so it was so badass. You can take a field spell from your deck and either activate it or add it to your hand, so that, you know, you'll have an extra means of getting your field spell. Now, the best means of protecting your field spell comes in the form of your counter traps. Dark Bride will negate a spell or trap effect your opponent activates in exchange for them drawing a card. Solemn Judgment is now at 3. When a spell or trap card is activated or a monster will be summoned, you can pay half your life points. You can negate this the activation. And of course, to protect your own life points, we got Threatening Roar to prevent you know, attacks that turn. And of course, Spiritual Swords of Revealing Light. You can pay 1,000 life points to negate an attack and stuff. But of course, you can also put this in the grave, banish it. Your opponent cannot attack you directly. Now, I have a couple hope for escapes, one in the side deck and one in the main deck. If your opponent's life points is at least 1,000 points higher than yours, you can pay 1,000 yourself. You can draw a card for every 2,000 points difference between your life points and your opponent's. So if you have, like, let's say, 6,000 life points, your opponent has 8,000. You will probably only be able to draw one card. But if you lose a lot more, aka like solemn judgments, which will cut your life points in half, like 8,000 to 4,000, you'll be able to draw more cards. So there you go. Now basically another card that I recommend you having is Kondo Churai. This card was just introduced like a week or so ago. Kondo Churai, you can target a face-up monster your opponent controls, and you can equip this card to it as an equip card, and it gains 500 attack and defense. While this may help out your opponent, at the same time, if that card, for whatever reason, is sent from the field, or it leaves, or is sent to the graveyard because the equipped monster left the field, you can draw a card. But if the card was activated the turn that you set it, or whatnot. This part is a bit confusing though, but yeah, if it was activated this turn, you can instead draw 2 cards and discard 1. So yeah, sometimes the activator for the secondary effect is not always accurate, because sometimes it doesn't work out that way, but it does help because link summoning is a thing. So they'll be link summoning a lot. Equip this card to a monster, and when they send it to the field the grave as material, you can draw your card. So there you go. That's basically the basic premise of this deck recipe. So let's go into, well, showing it off in actual duels. Basically the premise of Exodia, if you didn't know, is to get all 5 cards into your hands. Once you do, you automatically win the duel. So there you go. It's basically insta win. Now you also want to have 2 Ledger of Legardmons or Guardimanes or whatever. Banish 3 cards from the top of your deck face down, and during the 3rd standby phase, after the card's activation, you can add all 3 of them to your hand. So it's basically draws in the future, in a sense. Otherwise than that, I hope you guys like my wallpaper and stuff like that. I might be changing it every so often, but I like it. It's pretty cool. That being said though, but yeah, whenever you want to go into finding a duel in ygo-pro, just click on or double click on the person's host in the main server. You can go to either the EU server or the USA server. USA server doesn't have a whole lot of people. Sometimes it's really slow. EU server is probably the best one, but unfortunately there is a lot of toxic players in the EU server. So, yeah, you see this right here? That's just a prime example. Otherwise than that though, if you want to make your own host, go to host, and you can set your rules here. If you want to use Master Rules 4, which is up to the Link era, do that. Master Rules 3 is up to the Pendulum era, and so on and so forth after that. Let's just stick with Master Rule 4. Your starting life points is 8,000, starting hand is 5, and you can only draw 1 card each turn during your draw phase. So there you go. You can also use different duel modes here. Single duels for a 1v1 match. Match will allow you to, once you defeat your opponent, you can fight them again automatically. It's sort of like a rematch kind of function. Tag duels, basically you team up with a partner and against 2 other players. So there you go. I'll be showing those off in the future. For now though, let's just click OK and see if we can get ourselves a guinea pig. Hopefully we get a good one. So all we gotta do now is just wait for someone to pop in, and well, we will have ourselves a duel. And there you go. Wow, that was pretty easy. Here's hoping we get a good battle here. Alright, just gotta hope my opponent is not a troll. Alright, duel! Wow, what a nice opening hand. I got 2 of my Exodia pieces already. But the nice thing though is that if your opponent ends up going first and you have a means of getting Mystic Mine onto the field in the second turn, you basically would have essentially stopped your opponent from attacking on their next turn unless they get rid of your field spell. So there you go. Perfect timing. Alright, now what I want to do is I want to use terraforming. Terraforming will allow me to add a field spell from my deck to my hand. In this case, obviously Mystic Mine. Since my opponent has 2 monsters on the field, Mystic Mine basically works right now. My opponents cannot activate monster effects or attack me at all. So there you go. This is basically my wall to prevent attacks. So there you go. Now, Pot of Duality will excavate the top 3 cards of my deck. It will allow me to add 1 to my hand. In this case, I want to add Solemn Judgment, more so to protect my field spell from getting destroyed, which will be very likely if my opponent is like a Twin Twister set. Now, I want to set down Demise of the Land. More so because if for some odd reason, or if for some reason my field spell does get destroyed, then I'll be able to get another one from my deck if my opponent special summons. So there you go. Alright, please do not have. Yeah, I figured as much. F me. Damn it! And he destroyed Solemn Judgment. Wow. Dick move, asshole. But this might be good for me. That's depending on if my opponent decides to special summon. Seeing as he has danger, the danger archetype, it seems, he's going to be special summoning from the hand. So this might work out to my advantage. That's assuming, of course, he special summons. But yeah, your opponent will be going for Mystic Mine every chance they get. So, just keep that in mind. Track Trick will banish a normal threat from your deck and set 1 card with the exact same name directly from your deck onto the field, and it can be activated that turn. He has a does he have a banish deck? Whatever. Either way though, I'm not going to have him attack me this turn. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use Trap Trick, banish Threatening Roar, and set 1 onto my field. Hopefully I can attack it before he goes into the battle phase. But if he does activate his field spell, yep, thank you, bitch. Since he activated an effect, I can activate my trap right this turn. Now he can't attack me. Or this turn, anyway. But this is a problem, though. But since he did special summon, aha! I can use Demise of the Land. Woohoo! Nice. But yeah, unfortunately I have no means of keeping my field spell safe right now. So all I can do is hope that I can, get into a draw that can protect me. Now, luckily though, I have 2 pieces of Exodia in my hand. But be careful though, viewers, because sometimes your opponents will try to troll you with like hand destruction, which will discard 2 cards from your hand, allowing you to draw 2. And then of course, if you only have 2 cards in your hand, and in this case, my Exodia pieces are my only 2 hands, I'm fucking fucked. Literally, I'm boned. Now, if they use card destruction, that's even worse. Because if you have no means of getting your Exodia cards back from the grave, then you're even more screwed. Now, there are some new Exodia cards that could help out with that, but I'm using like an older, or slightly older formula for this method. Now, I'm going to use Ledgerman to banish 3 cards from the top of my deck. Let's see here. Wow, 2 Dark Bribes and a Hope for Escape. Perfect. Which means in 3 turns, I'll be able to get them into my hand. So until then, I gotta stay alive, stay alive, stay alive. Yeah, literally. Perfect, I got another Solemn Judgment. And I got Contrary. Perfect timing. Alright, now I just gotta hope that my opponent does not try to Twin Twister my ass again. But I might just end up decking out my opponent before I end up getting all my Exodia pieces. The thing about Golden Castle or Strawberries that during your opponent or during your standby phase, you have to banish 10 cards from the top of your deck. So yeah, it's dumb. But if you're using a banish deck and stuff, this is probably the best card in for that deck. But yeah, you see, my opponent can't even attack me because I have Mystic Mine on the field. Now I want to activate Keto Churai, and let's see here. Let's give it to this guy. Give him a bonus. There you go. Yeah, with this, if my opponent were to send him to the graveyard for whatever reason, then I'll be able to draw, well, a card. So there you go. Now, viewers, I just thought of something. With with Trap Trick and stuff like that, you can, in theory, if you have 2 Kondo Churais in your deck, you can activate Kondo Churai on the turn that you set it if you use Trap Trick. So that way you can use the, you know, the draw 2 cards and discard 1 card secondary effect if it was activated that turn that you set it. So yeah, that's a good way to activate it quicker. I just now thought about it, just now. But well, there you go. Yeah, I'm not the smartest tool in the shed until it really matters. But because I use Reckless Greed, I can't draw for 2 turns. But it's alright though, because I have a means of protecting my field spell now. So, unless my opponent has another Dark Bribe, or not Dark Bribe, Twin Twister set, he ain't getting past my wall. But unfortunately, because he doesn't have 10 cards in his deck now, his field spell is destroyed. Yes, and since it's turn 3, I get all the cards that I banished back now. Alright, let's set that, and set 1 Dark Bribe. Make sure that you have at least 1 free Spell and Trap Zone space open. So that way, well, you can use it for, you know, drawing your cards and whatnot. Now, since I have about 3,000 life points less than he does, let's see, it should get me down to 4,000 if I activate it. Perfect. Alright, now then, let's use Hope for Escape. Pay 1,000 life points, and I draw 1 card equal to 2,000 points difference. In this case, that's 2 cards. Do you have a means of stopping me, dude? No, you do not. Yes. Notice the music change? Whenever, you can customize your own music on ygo-pro Percy, by the way. I'll go into that at some point. Essentially, you can just put your own music and copy it and stuff like that into your sound files in ygo-pro. And, well, you can have your own music set. It's pretty nice. Alright, that being said, then let's set another, Demise of the Land. That should do it. But yeah, at this point, we basically secured our victory. That's assuming this guy, well, he'll either deck out or I'll get Exodia first. It's pretty simplified now. So, yeah. You deck out, or I get Exodia, or he can surrender. Rage quit! Wow. Viewers, the dude just fucking rage quit on me. Yeah, that can happen as well. That's how some of these ygo-pro Percy duels are. You got a lot of rage quitters, and then you also have you know, those that will stick it out even though they have no real chance of winning. But of course, if you're facing off against an Exodia deck like mine, then you're pretty much better off just surrendering. Because at that point, if you have no means of stopping my field spell, you can't really do shit to me. This deck has won me so many duels. Probably the best Exodia build deck that I've built. So, there you go. So, yeah, basically, like I said, the basic premise, get all 5 pieces of Exodia in your hand, and you get an instant win. And, of course, you can use Foolish Burial Goods to put Spiritual Swords of Revealing Light in the graveyard. This will help to prevent direct attacks if you don't have your field spell on. So, there you go. You already saw Legacy of Yatagori already. You can, it's simple draw power, then of course you have Reckless Greed, and then of course all of our other draw cards and stuff like that. So yeah, basically that's the real premise of this card. And oh yeah, of course you got Upstart Goblin as well. Now, one interesting thing about this, you could draw a card, but then your opponent gains 1,000 life points. That could be good, because if you took damage from either like the a battle, or you use Solemn Judgment to halve your life points, that's really good bait to use Hope for Escape to get more cards to draw. So, there you go. Isn't it cool? Essentially, you're locking down your opponent with Mystic Mind. You're preventing Mystic Mind from being destroyed with these 2 cards. Then you're preventing direct attacks with these cards. And then, of course, you got your draw power with this set. And then you got your field spell activations for quicker field spell activations with these. And, of course, you have Banish for future draws with Ledger of Ledgerman. It's so fucking badass! So yeah, here's my deck recipe for my Exodia build. Feel free to copy it down if you want. And of course, use this power wisely. You could trigger your opponent. Trust me, I've triggered plenty, and some of them probably hate my guts for it. But well, that's the gist of ygo-pro. You're going to be running into a lot of people that are really good players. Some people will be like harsh dicks to you. Some of them will troll you, call you names, say homophobic things, say or spew out racial slurs and whatnot. But that's pretty much how ygo-pro is. But if you're strong enough to deal with it and stuff like that, and kick your ass in the card game to say, hey, you can call me whatever you want, but you still can't kick my ass in a card game, bitch. A children's card game. So yeah, do that, your opponents can't do shit to you. Otherwise than that though, guys, that about wraps up my first episode of Let's Play ygo-pro Percy. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like I said, I'm going to be doing new episodes of Let's Play ygo-pro Percy every Sunday morning between 9 to 11 a.m. So there you go. So be sure to be on the lookout for that. And hope you guys enjoyed this episode. And of course, if you guys like this video, be sure to leave me a like. Be sure to subscribe for more awesome gaming videos from me. Become part of the notification squad. Hit that bell icon to stay notified whenever I upload new videos on YouTube. Got something to say? Leave a comment. Till next time, this is Mike from Rage Break Gaming, and I hope your rage breaks. Have a great day. Smell you later.